welcome to the show. I'm Shibani Gharat. Now, artificial intelligence boosted by craze over generative AI took center stage at this year's Consumer Electronics Show as well. I'm at the world's largest technology show in Las Vegas this week, where companies including L'Oreal, Hyundai, Sony, Honda, Intel, Walmart, Snap unveiled their AI-enabled products and services, along with many personal computer makers who shared the roadmap for the coming-of-age AI PCs. Although this is a tech show, many brand custodians, many from the advertising industries, key decision makers from the advertising industry were present on ground, and I was lucky enough to catch up with a couple of them. Coming up, my conversation with Omnicom Media Group's global CEO, Florian Adamski. Joining us in a special chat at Consumer Electronics Show, we have Florian Adamski, Global CEO, Omnicom Media Group. Welcome to CNBC TV18.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. This is an exciting time to be here.
Florian, let's begin this conversation speaking to you about some of the conversations and trends that you have picked up from the Consumer Electronics Show this year.
I'll tell you something. I've come here many times, such as yourself, and I think many of the viewers and listeners here. It gave me a moment of pause when I read a few reports earlier this week that called 2024 being an inflection point. And so I started thinking about what this planet, all of us, had gone through over the past 2-3 years that made 24 of all years an inflection point. And then I started to go through a
the
list
inflection point for what? Let me just ask you.
Exactly. No, that is interesting, right? And I stress tested this notion of this being another day one moment. And if you look at the fact that starting with, there's going to be ad spend, global ad spend of $1 trillion for the first time ever in 2024, that gives us something to work with. It makes us responsible and also accountable for two things. Number one, are we still going to be spending every single one of these $1 trillion effectively on behalf of our clients? And secondly, this bombardment of consumers and clients and really human beings with the $1 trillion of ad pressure behind it, how can we make sure that we do it in an engaging way, that we do it in a way that there is no backlash? Now, add to that the next number one stat, which is 1% of cookies having been disabled on Chrome just last week, making it even more important to find the right balance, the right identity solution to talk to these consumers. Let me move on to the next day one moment. 1 in every $5 are going to be spent in retail media, and we believe that 20% of the entirety of commerce, global commerce, is actually going to sit in an online environment. That makes this a true day one. How are we going to cope on both ends, on the sales side, but also the media investment side, with these two emerging trends? How are we going to cope with the omni-channel approach that puts in our hands, but once again, making sure it's a positive consumer experience? So going through all of these things, and I could go on and on and on, there are more day one-like moments that we will have in 24. I think it is fair to say that 24 indeed is an inflection point, and where better to start it than at CES.
So global advertising spends at $1 trillion for the first time, you're saying, which means that advertisers are not going to be cautious this year as they were last year in 2023 at the start of the year. Also, interesting times for the industry with the giant, democratic activity, which is US elections, the Indian elections happening in 2024, also the Olympics happening in 2024. Tell us, how do you see brands advertising this year?
So you're completely right on all fronts. This is a super election year, and the fact that the Olympic Games also play in all of that noise does contribute to the 1 trillion threshold being crossed for the first time. I think there is still some ongoing uncertainty, and there is still some people that talk about a potential recession. But as we see federal banks starting to make different decisions, potentially reversing the interest hikes of the past, I think there is a proper chance for a soft landing, not only of the US economy, but also for other global economies. Speaking of which, I think if we look at especially India, China as well, but especially India is going to be one of the core engines. That is true for the company that I represent, Omnicom Media Group, but I think it is also true for the broader marketplace. India has always had the role of a growth engine, but I think especially 2024 with the support the government is giving entrepreneurs, businesses, and a lot of the global trade now being rerouted through and into India, I think this is going to be one of the core epicenters of growth in 24.
And you ended 2023 on a good note, ranked #1 in new businesses in December. Tell us more, how do you expect 2024 to be going forward?
Thank you for acknowledging that. And yes, I'm very proud, especially because a lot of people within Omnicom Media Group have worked hard. I've been with Omnicom for 26 years, to be honest, and we've had years where we were winning, we've had years where we've been losing. For the past 2 years, things have been going well, and I think there is quite a clear strategy that drives this positive momentum that we have right now. But I'm also not naive to believe that this is simply going to move on forever. This is not a moment to pat ourselves on the backs, but to continue in a very disciplined and thoughtful way to be driving better outcomes for our clients at scale in a moment when I believe agencies such as ourselves have never been more relevant.
You know, speaking about that, one of the larger themes for AI, for CES this year has been AI. Of course, the conversations around AI began, in 2023, right at the start of the year. The industry was a bit confused. They were looking forward to experimenting with AI. So let's say that 2023 was the year of experimentation when it came to AI. But stepping into 2024, do you think that, the investment in AI by the advertising and the media industry is going to be more efficient?
A year ago, and I remember these moments at CES 2023, that this was really when the consumer mainstream discovered the theme of generative AI. ChatGPT and many other tools became a household name. Having said that, and moving forward, I think we need to be clear-sighted on the fact that while the global consumer sentiment was very much about AI in 23, this industry, ourselves, have been experimenting and creating and building machine learning, AI, earlier and later versions of it into the ways of working that we have, into the applications, the tools. So 23 was more of a hype moment than an actual existential change in the way we approach the business. 2024 and going forward are going to be interesting for two things. Number one, how can we build AI into operations, but also in the way we make decisions on behalf of our clients that is systematized as opposed to being one-offs. And then on the policy side, and this is a conversation that many governments around the world are having right now with large tech platforms, how do we make sure that the technology at our fingertips is being used in a way that is constructive and productive,
not only rather than being destructive.
Exactly. And of course, I see all the downside risks, but I think we shouldn't make one mistake, which is overthinking AI and its potential negative outcomes in such a tight way that it overshadows the potential gains in productivity and what it can do for the broader population across the world.
And what can it do for the advertising and the media industry going forward?
I'm an optimist in all things. And, there's not a single company in the world that at the core of their purpose has advertising built into that strategy. Advertising is a means of putting a product in front of a consumer and wanting that consumer to act positively to that encounter. So what I think AI can make us do is to be more empathetic, smarter, more relevant in the way we do confront consumers to our brands, to our products. Coming back to the $1 trillion, how can we do that in a positive way? If we get that done, and technology can help with that, that will result in a higher ROI. If there's a higher ROI, advertisers, companies will invest more into this space. So I think there is opportunity and risk. As I said, I'm always somebody looking for the sunshine rather than for the deep dark. So I think AI will elevate this industry further and will give evidence to the contribution it can have to a positive economic, but also societal effect.
What are the conversations that you're having with marketers and clients that you're meeting around the Consumer Electronics Show?
Excitement.
In terms of, application of technology, application of AI in their products, in their campaigns going forward.
Yeah, I was going to list, I think, 3 sentiments: excitement, confusion, uncertainty. I think that is the triangle that we're moving within right now. Clients come here. We have more than, I think, 85 client organizations that are sending representatives to this very show, many of which have been in this space today. And they come here to understand what is in store, how can I elevate my business, how can I make these more effective decisions. Then, of course, they're being overwhelmed by the sheer volume of the offering out there, and they need someone like us and other consultants and specialists they work with to make sense of all of that. So really, and it might sound a little loose-lipped, but our role at CES is to make it smaller, make CES smaller, more compact, more digestible on behalf of our clients.
How do you make CES smaller, considering it goes from the south to the north of the strip for these number of days?
It is a lot of work, homework I would call it, that goes into reviewing, filtering, identifying what matters, by the way, not only to everybody, but to different industry verticals and clients within these verticals, and then serving all these pre-curated ingredients up to specific clients. Because this is like going to a restaurant, right? Essentially, with the ingredients of the world, you can have whatever meal, but there is a menu that is being curated for you, and that is what we're doing for our clients here at CES. We'll have a show tomorrow that we call the Best of CES, where within, I think, 70 minutes, we try to summarize the most important streams and dynamics to an audience of clients.
And what is your opinion on, the scope of CES being expanded beyond, the traditional tech companies to, let's say, a L'Oreal doing a keynote at the Consumer Electronics Show for being the first beauty brand, and many of the advertising agencies present on ground at CES, the number has only increased over the past many years.
It's true. It is very true. So it is 2 things. One, it makes it very convenient for us to have a dialogue with our clients here, because CES has become such an important start to the year that there is almost no vertical that is not one way or the other touched by some of the trends that are being put on display here. So this makes it a very, very effective marketing platform for ourselves. The fact that more and more companies that only a few years ago would not have been considered the typical participant in CES are now taking center stage, that goes to show that companies are looking for growth. Why? Many of these companies are trying to leave behind the legacy understanding of who they were in the past, and they want to become something that is more akin to a platform, a consumer experience that is much, much broader and diversified than the singular product that in the past a consumer like yourself or myself would have associated that brand with. And I think the keynote that you just mentioned is just a great example of that.
Correct. Florian, I'm not going to leave you without asking about your expectations from the India market and, your focus for the country going forward.
Look, I think I already touched on the relevance and importance of India within our own network and organization. It is one of the highest growth markets. That has been the case for the past couple of years, and I'm even more bullish about the future of the Indian market. I connect on frequent and regular occasions with our Indian leadership. I think what is happening in India right now is an accumulation and an acceleration of many, many global trends that have not yet reached the shores of many other sophisticated and developed markets, but it is a precursor to what many of us in North America or Europe will be seeing over the next couple of years. So if you wanted me to, I'm not a betting person, if I needed to be putting my bet, my money on a singular country that we will see a lot of growth in, that would be India for a number of reasons that I think we slightly touched upon.
So, the clients are no longer cautious stepping into 2024 as they were in 2023. 1 trillion ad spends this year for the first time. You're helping clients navigate the uncertainties that technology and newer technologies get in. What else? What else are the trends getting into 2024, Florian?
Well, we discussed a number of them. I think one trend that is highly important more and more, and actually it becomes a media channel as opposed to something that is more PR and event related, is the influencer economy, the creator economy. And the fact that I call it a media channel is the acknowledgement, once again, of the fragmentation. So working with influencers and creators has become quite common. There's no larger advertiser that wouldn't do it or consider it one way or the other. But really getting your arms around how to navigate that space, given the many, many thousand, I think the latest stat that I saw is that there is globally 50 million creators and influencers, 50 million individuals and their teams around that. That is just a heavy lift. So what we need to use, again, technology for and platforms for, is to group these creators into something that is meaningful and that is digestible and also relevant to advertisers. So I think really moving the creator space into something that is highly professionalized and then connecting that, bridging that through to commerce, imminent, direct commerce. How can we make sure consumers would actually act right upon the heels of being in touch with an influencer? That is one of the hardest things that we, by the way, also see coming from Asia to North America to Europe much more in the future.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us and sharing insights with us, Florian.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure, always.
It is time for a short break. You don't go anywhere. We will be right back. After the break, we are catching up with John Couling from Dolby. At the ongoing Consumer Electronics Show, Dolby is a company that is promising to deliver experiences that transcend the boundaries of traditional audio-video experiences. To tell us more about this, I'm joined in by John Couling of Dolby. John, welcome to CNBC-TV18 again.
Thank you so much for having me again.
And we are meeting right here at Las Vegas after a year, the entertainment capital of the world. Tell us some of the trends that you're picking up from CES this year.
Well, from what we see, the consumer's desire for immersive entertainment is as high as ever. That's what a lot of people are talking about, whether they're talking about the world of future of XR and these types of things, or just enjoying their favorite TV show or sports event in the most engaging way possible.
Okay, and we are right here at the Mercedes Maybach.
Yes.
I'm about to take the Mercedes Maybach experience with Dolby. Tell us more, what are you showcasing this year at this year's Consumer Electronics Show?
Yeah, so one of the things we've been working at for some years is to bring Dolby Atmos to music. And we've seen this incredible enthusiasm from artists all over the world, whether it's in the US, in Europe, in India, in China, artists who just are embracing that experience. And what we're going to do is we're going to put you in the Mercedes Maybach where we can play those songs for you in their sound system, which includes Dolby Atmos. And it is a truly amazing experience.
So I'm looking forward to taking that ride. But before that, also share with us, as we step into 2024, what are some of the trends that shaped the year 2023? What are some of the key innovations that Dolby has done in the past 1 year that you're proud of? And how are you keeping that momentum, for the months to come?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're very proud of the automotive experience, not just at a car like this, which is obviously at the premium end of the market, but also now we have over 10 different automakers who are including Dolby Atmos. And so that's really exciting because that's expanding that to everybody. We're also really excited by what we're doing with Flex Connect, Dolby Atmos Flex Connect. This is a technology that brings Dolby Atmos to your home, but in a way that's incredibly simple for consumers and incredibly easy for people to put into their life. And we have a new announcement here with one of our partners, Hisense, joining TCL to bring that technology to consumers.
So Dolby Atmos to your smartphones, Dolby Atmos to your cars.
To your living room,
to your living
everywhere
rooms,
we can bring it.
everywhere. Tell us, what is some of the feedback that you are hearing from your consumer? What are the experiences that they are looking for?
You know, they really are enjoying the experience. You know, with the technology, it pulls you closer into the story. So if you're watching your favorite TV show or movie, you're more engaged in the experience. Your favorite sport, it's like you're there in the stadium. That's what people tell us that they get. And they're hearing clarity and detail to connect with the artist in a completely unique way.
So we are almost reaching, John, the AI inflection point of entertainment. Can you tell us more? What are some of the things with AI that Dolby is doing?
Yeah, so it's an area where we've certainly done some research as well, and I think it's going to be transformative for the entertainment industry. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation about how it impacts production and creativity, but also from our perspective, we see AI as something that can really help bring broader entertainment experiences. It's included in some of our technologies already to help make the most out of the playback experience.
Consumers, especially the Gen Zs, are more on mobile and smartphones than
Absolutely.
ever before. Some of the things that will shape the mobile gaming and content consumption experience going forward.
Yes, so mobile is an incredibly important platform for a very wide range of creators. You mentioned gamers, but it's true for musicians, for music lovers. Mobile is really important. We're partnered with a lot of mobile manufacturers to actually allow people to be creators, that the camera captures in Dolby Vision, the same technology used by professional filmmakers, but it brings you to the phone that's in your hand with partners like Oppo and Vivo and Xiaomi and Apple. And to bring that to consumers, to give them that kind of creativity and that kind of capability, we're incredibly excited. And true for games too, as you mentioned, bringing that stadium sound, for example, to a game like Epic Cricket in India is something we're incredibly proud of.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us and looking forward to the Maybach experience now.
Wonderful.
Well, 2023 certainly shook up the advertising industry with immense technological development and the changes in the media and the advertising landscape. So, in 2024, we'll have to watch out for what are the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. With that, it's a wrap from the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Goodbye.